Residents voice their concern on the new increase for value-added tax. Workers of the 52 Weeks program in Grand Bahama in an uproar. Sentencing for one of the men in the Barry and Sheena Johnson murder trial.
The Bahamas Tonight Northern Edition starts now.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening all, I'm Shashina Rowe-Parkinson. As always, it is so great to have you with us. Topping news this evening, the government's plan to increase value-added tax to 12% is creating quite a buzz here on Grand Bahama. The Minister of Finance's presentation in Parliament yesterday is being met with some excitement and disappointment as well. Our Italia Hall took to the streets today to find out what Grand Bahamians are saying about the 2018-2019 budget.
Well, Shashina, some call it a bitter pill to swallow, the 4.5% increase in value-added tax. Yes, come July 1st, Bahamians will begin paying a 12% tax on some goods and services. This increase is projected to deliver an additional $4 million in revenue for the government. But while there's an increase in value-added tax, the budget included some tax relief as well. The Minister of Finance, the Honorable Peter Turnquest, calling the budget one of the most transformative budgets in the history of the nation as they push to eliminate past practices of fiscal mismanagement. But some of the key points that stuck with many residents are some of the tax relief measures, such as the elimination of VAT on all breadbasket items, with the exception of sugar, the elimination of VAT on medicine and residential property insurance as well. Duty will be eliminated on food products such as whole salmon, frozen fish, potato products, tofu, bread spreads, and prepared and preserved tomatoes. The government is also planning to extend for 5 years the first-time homeowner stamp tax exemption, and for 2 more years duty will be exempted for persons purchasing material used for renovation, repair, and the upgrade of dilapidated buildings. Another key area that caught the attention of many is the increase of customs personal travel exemption. The exemption has now gone from $300 to $500, but the high debate across the country revolves around the announcement by the finance minister that in just a few weeks VAT will be raised by some 4.5%. Residents on Grand Bahama had many opinions and mixed views on the 12% valued-added tax.
I don't agree because very little has been done with the monies collected from the prior administration in position of VAT itself.
We know that we have been wasting money for a long time. It's time for us to really take responsibility for the money we're wasting, and we need to pay the deficit.
I'm looking at long term. We know that in order to get out of where we're in right now, we have to increase taxes and we have to do these things in order for the Bahamas to be better later on down the line.
I think it's a bit very high. It's just too high for us right now.
If we need it, I think it's necessary.
The fact of the matter is all around the world, the prices are going up, things are changing, so we live in an ever-changing world.
I disagree it should go up quite so far. I said us increase to say 10% would have been better and been better received by everyone concerned.
As far as VAT goes, looking at your camera, I would like our government to actually tell us exactly how they're spending the VAT they already got.
Duty is also being reduced on floor tiles and fabric softener. The duty rate on brand new small vehicles will also be set at 25%. But residents on Grand Bahama say while all these exemptions are welcomed, the VAT increase is just another strain on the already ailing economy.
Right.
Thanks to Talia, well, scores of workers in the government's 52-week program were reportedly notified today that their employment has come to an end. Today, a number of workers employed with the Grand Bahama Health Services came to our studios to express outrage about being let go from the program. Well, meantime, the Ministry of the Public Service and National Insurance issued a statement today on the status of the 52-week program, noting that the current program comes to a close today and participants in the program will be given notice pay plus any accrued vacation leave. Now, according to the statement, the Ministry of the Public Service and National Insurance will begin a new 52-week skills empowerment program on July 1st. These and new participants will officially receive letters advising the terms of their employment. Now, according to the ministry, its objective is to ensure that by the end of the program, individuals have obtained skills that will help them to be employable and hopefully employed. The program will be launched with a soft skills training designed designed and implemented by the National Training Agency. Training will take place on New Providence, Grand Bahama, Eleuthera, Abaco, Exuma, and any other family island with a sizable number of participants. Participants in the program must successfully complete the training in order to receive certification of their completion. According to these individuals, they were not officially engaged. They were not given any letters of employment, which means that their placement remained uncertain throughout the life of the program. And other partners preparing to host a major conference in a few weeks. The conference will focus on the development of blockchain and cryptocurrency in the Bahamas and around the world. The conference will seek to attract some 500 local, national, and international investors, as well as entrepreneurs. This event is one of the first recommendations made to the government by the Grand Bahama Tech Steering Committee, which was formed last December. Now, this is all in an effort to turn Grand Bahama into an internationally recognized technology hub and the Silicon Valley of the region. The Minister of State for Grand Bahama, the Honorable Kwesi Thompson, says there will be a number of national and international speakers at the conference who will focus on a wide range of topics.
Topics to be discussed are the technology sector in the Bahamas is open for business. And this one is really very important because this panel will focus and will have persons like the Governor of Central Bank, John Roll. It will have the head of BISIX, Keith Davis. It will have the head of Bahamas Security Commission, Ms. Christina Roll. And it will also include the Bahamas Financial Services Board, persons like Tanya McCartney. It is really a message to the world that the Bahamas wants to be in this space. Also, another topic to be discussed is why should we invest in the Bahamas?
Now, Chairman of the Steering Committee, Dr. Donovan Moxey, shared more about the website and urged persons to pre-register online for the conference.
Buzz that has been ongoing around this conference globally. Believe me, there's a lot of buzz that's been ongoing. And we know there's a lot of interest in what the Bahamas has to offer. If many of us have been looking and reading around blockchain and what the other countries and jurisdictions are doing, everybody has already talked about what they're doing, but the Bahamas has not made any official remarks or official position on what it's doing. We are going to reveal and unveil everything at this conference. We anticipate that there's a lot of pent-up demand for registration, so what we're asking people to do in order to save their slot is to pre-register. The site is live now. Go on the site and pre-register. That holds your slot. And so we encourage everybody to go in, fill in the form. Once registration officially opens, we will then send those persons notifications so they can go ahead and complete their registration process. But we anticipate huge global demand for this.
Now, persons can pre-register or find out more about the information and by visiting this official website, blockbahamaschainconference.com. The 3-day conference will take place at the Grand Lucine Resort. That's June 20th to the 22nd. In news from the courts, it was decision day for Paul Belazaire, the man convicted of the armed robbery of Barry and Sheena Johnson, the couple that was killed at their home in September 2015. Today, Belazaire was sentenced to 25 years in prison. The time already spent in prison will be taken into account. Belazaire was also accused of the murder of Barry and Sheena Johnson, but earlier this month, the jury in the case returned with a hung jury on the murder charge. Now, 2 other men were also on trial along with Belazaire. In the case of Kevin Dames, there was a hung jury on the charges of murder and armed robbery, and Devon Hall, he was found guilty on all 3 counts, armed robbery and the murder of Barry and Sheena Johnson. Police in Abaco are investigating an apparent drowning of a 70-year-old American visitor. Police tell us that shortly after 4 p.m., officers received a report that 2 males on board a 44-foot vessel was swimming in the area of the Bakers Bay dock on Guana Key when the victim was discovered floating in the water. CPR was rendered, but the elderly man never regained consciousness. He was transported to the Marsh Harbor Clinic where he was pronounced dead on arrival. Stay with us. The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, continues right after this.